We'll talk about the types of methods of learning. There are actually three learning types, visually, auditory, and kinesthetic. Also, we will discuss whether you are introversive or extroversive students, and we will briefly stop on transferable skills. So let's begin with the types of methods of learning. There are actually three of them, as I mentioned before. They're visual, auditory, and kinesthetic. What are these learning styles? They are most common and suitable ways for you to learn something. What do they depend on? They actually depend on your psychological abilities. They depend on the sense which is most comfortable for you. Why it is really necessary to identify it? Because depending on your learning style, there will be different types of strategies, techniques, and methods which are suitable for you to learn. So during this lesson, we will identify your learning styles, as well as after identifying that, I will give you some tips on how to be a successful learner. Well, mostly commonly, people have a main preferred learning style, so they may be visual, auditory, or kinesthetic, but usually, in most cases, we will have the blend of three. Just one of them will be more brightly shown. Others will not be so greatly noticed in your character. So some people have a very strong preferences, other people have a more even mixture of two or sometimes even three. They will be balanced. So when you know your preferred learning style, you understand the type of learning that best suits you. This enables you to choose the type of learning that works best for you. There is no right or wrong learning style. So it doesn't matter visual, auditory, or kinesthetic learner you are. This is not a mistake. This is not a problem. All of the learning styles are appropriate. The point is that there are types of learning that are right for you, for your own learning style. So now I would like to ask you to take a pen and a pencil or anything to write on. So that's because we will begin the test. So on my screen, you see questions. There are actually 16 of them, or 15. So I would like you to read these questions and to choose one appropriate answer for each, A, B, or C. And write. Just a moment. So questions 4, 5, and 6. Same instructions. Choose one appropriate answer. Questions 8 to 10. To the next. 11, 12, and 13. 14, 15, and 16. So if you mostly have A answers, that means you are a visual learning style. You have a visual learning style. If most answers are B, that means you're auditory learning styles. If most answers are C, you may have a kinesthetic learning style. If you have equal number of two types, that means you're a mixed style, and both, for example, if you have the equal number of A's and B's, it means you're both visual and auditory learner, and both tips for this, and that will be suitable for you. So now let's look at the descriptions. Who are actually visual, auditory, and kinesthetic learners? So visual learning style, someone who has it has a preference to see or observe things. They like pictures, diagrams, demonstrations, any kind of displays and handouts. Films and flip charts are the best things for them to study. So in order to learn something, they need to see that thing with their own eyes. These people will use phrases such as show me, let's have a look at that, and will be best able to perform a new task after reading the instructions or watching someone else doing it first. Their eyes are their main tool of studying. With the help of their eyes, they get all the necessary information. These are people people who will work from lists or written directions and instructions. They don't really need to hear anything. They just need to see it, to read it. All in all, use their eyes to understand the information. So if you're a visual learner, probably you have noticed that as soon as you see something, you understand it perfectly. Auditory learner. Someone with an auditory learning style has a preference to the transfer of information through listening. If for the first type, video information was most important, for this one, audio information is the best. They prefer spoken word, they like sounds, they enjoy noises. These people will use phrases such as tell me, let's talk it over, and will be best able to perform a new task after listening to the instructions from an expert. So they understand everything when someone tells that to them. They get all the information by listening to it. These people who are happy being given spoken instructions over the telephone, and they can remember all the words to songs that they hear. So probably if you listen to songs and it is easy for you to remember the lyrics, even if you don't want to, that means you're probably an auditory learner. So auditory learners, those who enjoy their ears and those who consider their ears to be their tool of learning. The third and the last type is kinesthetic learning style. Sometimes it is also called tactile. So these are people who prefer physical experience. They learn by touching, by holding, by feeling something, by doing something, by making something practical, hands-on experience. Their hands and their senses are the most important tools for learning for them. It's not really necessary for them to see, it's not really necessary for them to hear. It is important for them to feel and to sense something, to make something with their own hands, with their own bodies. So these people will use such phrases as, let me try, how do you feel, and will be best able to perform a new task by doing ahead and trying it out, learning as they go. They are the people who like experiments, they like hands-on, and they never look at the instructions first. So probably if they need to, so if they need to do something, if they need to deal with a piece of equipment, they never look at the instruction. They just prefer to take something in their hands, look at it, and try to understand how it works with their own brain, with their own experiences. They don't need others. They are mostly autonomous and independent. And independent learning is mostly suitable for these kinesthetic people. However, visuals and auditory will also be able to do that. Just if in case you have a kinesthetic learning style, you will really be able to learn independently better, because experiencing something on your own is your motto, is your goal of study, is your best style. So now let me show you some tips. Those who had mostly A answers, as we said before, you're visual learners. So if you're a visual learner, these are the tips for you. In order to study better, you may ask for demonstration. For example, when the teacher gives you a lesson, you may ask for pictures to illustrate that. You would like to ask to see something. Whenever possible, ask your teacher for a visual demonstration. Once you see the concept or principle in action, you will have an easier time to understand it and to recall it later. So your eyes are main things here. Also, you need to request handouts. Before class begins, you may ask teacher if there is a handout you can review during the lecture. Handouts will help you to keep the tracks of the information, because seeing the information is important for you, more important than listening to it. So if you listen to the information, it is not as easy for you to grasp it compared to when you see it. So having a handout, looking at the handout at the same time with listening to the lecture is the best thing for you. So seeing pictures, even seeing words is the best learning style for you. So when you're studying independently, when you're learning on your own, you need to incorporate white spaces in your notes. So for example, if you're writing anything, writing any kind of notes, do not try to stick them together. Make some free spaces between them. Organize information in blocks. So maybe have some free places between the blocks of information. Also use something colorful. Highlighters will work great for you. Uh, Organizational tools in your notes are the most important things for you. Make your notes as beautiful as you wish that. Spend a lot of time on your notes because looking at them you study the best. And when you see your notes being beautiful, you will feel motivated to studying. You will feel that studying is enjoyment for you, and the information which needs to be remembered will be remembered easier by you. You also may draw symbols and pictures. Use symbols like exclamation points if you have some kind of important information, for example. If there is something confusing in your notes, put question marks because they will remind you that further later you will kind of need to ask that question from the teacher or from anyone else. Use stars for information you need to understand fully. The most important information may be marked with a star. So in addition, consider illustrating complex concepts and processes. For example, you may make diagrams, flow charts in order to understand something better. So for example, in case teacher doesn't provide the lecture with the handout, you may make schemes, make flowcharts, make anything visual which helps you to understand that things better. Next thing is flashcards. Flashcards are really saving points to you. They can help you to remember key terms and vocabulary words. You may create a set of flashcards and illustrate them with relevant pictures and symbols. They will boost your attention. They will boost your ability to understand something and to remember something. You may use flashcards in the form of the paper, which are just handmade, made by you, or there are some special apps. If you Google flashcard app, there will be lots of them. Download one of them and use them as the tool to remember new vocabulary because it will be much easier for you. You are the person who learned something from seeing it, and creating flashcards will help you to do that more effectively and much better. Creating graphs and charts, as I have mentioned before, if you're learning information that can be organized as a graph or chart, take as much time as necessary to make one. It doesn't really need to be so fancy, just make them in the form of notes, in the form of scheme, where one step comes after another. Seeing information in this structured format will help you to remember it much better. Outlines. Outlines are also another tip for you. So make outlines when necessary. They are an excellent organizational tool for the visual learner. In your outline, you can structure a large amount of information by using headings, subheadings, bullet points, anything highlighting it. Outline the textbook chapters. For example, if you're reading something, make an outline. If you're writing an essay, make an outline of it. So outlines and organization in a written way will help you to study better. When you are reviewing anything, looking at the outline, you will remember and retain this information much easier. Final tip for you is you need to write your own practice test. So for example, you have one subject, reading, writing, as an example. You're studying and learning a lot of information. Try to make your own practice test based on the information you learned. You get to see the relevant test information right in front of you. It will be a big help for you because this is the way of reviewing the information with your own eyes again. Use study guides which are given to you. Use chapter notes. and previous classroom assignments which were given to you by a teacher, and make your own tests. This is the best way for practicing to you. So all in all, if you're a visual learner, try to make great visual tools for you. Try to organize your notes in a beautiful way and always ask for handouts and demonstrators. If you are a oops, if you're an auditory learner, ears are the main component for you. As you can see here, ears in the middle of the picture. These are the tips which are suitable for you. Record class lectures. Whenever you're in a class and you hear a lecture given by a teacher, try to record it. Try to make everything in the form of audio, because you'll definitely benefit from re-listening to it again after a while in order to retain the information. Because by looking at the text, by reading the text, it will be just useless. It will be not as effective for you as listening to something which was told by a teacher again. So record. Verbalization is the most important thing here. Second tips is find a study buddy. So team up with a study group or a reliable study partner and quiz each other on the content. So you may just sit together with your friend from your group and try to ask each other questions based on the information you have covered. This will help you to comprehend whether you have understood everything clearly or you need to review something once more. This is the good thing to do before exams. So for example, when you have an exam, 1 or 2 hours before that, sit together with your friend, ask each other questions, and enjoy that things. Next tip to you, sit near the front of the room. So when you are having a lecture, when you're having a lesson, the best way and the best place and point spot in the room for you is the front row. Just because you need to listen everything clearly, you need to hear everything appropriately from the teacher. For example, someone who is a visual learner, being close to the teacher is not really important for him, because listening to information is not the best and not the most beneficial way for him. But for you, an auditory learner, listening to information is the most amazing tool. So do not try to escape, do not try to run and book the last row of the classroom. Sit in the front. This is the best way for you to gain the information. Listen to classical music while you're studying, while you're reading something, while you're doing your homework. Turn on the lyric-free music, not the popular pop songs, but maybe classical music where there are no lyrics, where there is no text. I mean, so you don't pay attention to the words which are being said because there are no words. You just listen to the sounds of music. They help you to stay calm. They help you to stay concentrated because your ears are in work and they associate several parts of the information which you're trying to learn with the music. And music will help you because it will become as a sign, it'll become a signpost for you when you're listening to it. Lyrics are too distracting, so never choose the songs with lyrics. You will stop doing the tasks, you will sing along with the song. Lyric-free music is the best option for you. Next one, participate in class discussions. Whenever there is a discussion, whenever you are given an opportunity to discuss something, to express your ideas in the class, use this chance, because this is how you understand the information better. Again, visual learners don't really need to speak to understand. You need that. You need to really remember everything. You need to hear that and you need to express that with your own words. Encourage other students while they speak so that others feel just as comfortable as you to speaking in front of the group. So for example, if your group mates are not so happy with speaking, encourage them. Try to motivate them to speak, because this is the best thing for you. When others speak, you review the information, you study from them. Next one, record yourself reading key terms and their definitions out loud. So if visual learners used flashcards to remember the vocabulary, you need to record that things. So open your dictionary, find the word which you need to remember, and read the definition for yourself. Record that on your phone, re-listen to it later. Listen to it while you are going to university or to work or wherever. When you're in public transport, just listen to the things and they will be saved in your brain easily. This is the best way for you to learn the information, to learn the new vocabulary. Next one, repeat facts with your eyes closed. Because when your eyes closed, you concentrate easier. This technique will help you to focus your attention on the auditory process rather than any other visual things, visual distractors which are around you, which might be in front of you. When your eyes are closed, you're all ears. Only your ears are working. So this is the best thing for you to remember. And finally, read assignments out loud. If you're given a homework assignment that involves reading a lengthy chapter on literature, for example, don't feel like you're trapped into a silent reading session. Instead, just read aloud. Sit in the front of the sit in the room closed from others in order not to distract others, and read it out loud. It will be much easier for you. You will enjoy that process because you're an auditory learner, and when you hear the words, you remember them best. Next, finally, tips for kinesthetic learners. When you are doing something, stand up instead of sitting down. It works when you study independently, of course. No one will really allow you to stand up and learning standing in the class. But just when you're alone, you need to do something which is connected with movements of the body. When you stand up, your body is more engaged and connected to the learning process. So you're reading a book, stand up. You are trying to learn the poem, walk along the room. Just make any kind of movements because your body and your brain associate the remembered information with the movements which were done together with that action, with that information. So moving and doing something physically together with studying and learning something will help you to remember the information better. So combine your study sessions with exercises. Pauses when you're physically active are the best thing and a must for you. So make after every 30 minutes, maybe make pauses, stand up from the sofa and do some kind of physical exercises. Let your brain have rest because this is how you remember everything better. These pauses when you're physically active and not mentally active is a saver for you. Utilize small movements. It's not always possible to stand up, as I said before, for example, during the class. Just when you're remembering something, when you're in a class, use a rubber band, twist it around your wrist, and try to kind of make some kind of movements with it. Or take a pencil and move it in your hands while you're listening to a teacher. Because this is still movements, this is still physical actions. And with the help of that physical actions, you will remember the information better. So take something into your hand and make movements with it. This is the way when you are not distracting others and teacher with the help of movements, but yet you're doing a movement, which is the help for you. Next one, use a pen, use a pencil, use a highlighter. So record the information, record it with your own hands. Again, these are physical movements and they will help you to remember everything better. Next one, try tension and relaxation. When you're in a study situation that truly limits your ability to move, use tension and relaxation technique to help you. So for 5 or 10 seconds, try to tighten a particular muscle. Tighten means напрячь. Напрягайте мышцы и расслабляйте их время от времени. Это поможет вам для того, чтобы расслабиться и больше сконцентрироваться на учебе дальше. Next one, and the last one, get creative. If the topic has become too difficult for you, look at it from the different angle. Use materials you can manipulate, such as blocks, figures, to visualize something. For example, if it is history and you're studying some kind of battle, reconstruct this battle using objects, using pencils, using pens, using other physical objects. You have excellent motor memory. You're likely to better remember something when you build it rather than when you read it. So we have extroverts. This is actually, both of them are psychological terms, and it comes to language learning and to any kind of learning from psychology. People mostly are divided into two categories. They may be introverts and extroverts. On this picture, you can see keywords associated with each reference, with extroverts and introverts. On the left side of the picture, there is information and keywords which are characterizing the extroverts. They are active. So they move a lot, they produce a lot of things, they create a lot of things. They are hearty, so it is easy for them to understand the feelings of other people. For extroverts, it is much easier to be empathic, so to understand what other people think, what other people feel. Uh, this is the best way for them to communicate with others, with the help of emotions. Variety is the great thing for them. They do not like when everything goes in the same tempo. They don't like when nothing changes. Variety is the key thing for them. So they need everything to be changed. They need everything to be different. So movements, and a lot of movements is the key thing for them. Uh, outer world is important for them. So what's happening inside of them depends on things which are happening outside. It is much more comfortable for them when they focus their attention on the outside world, on others, on the things which are happening around them, not on the things which are happening inside of them. They are expressive. It is easy for them to express their feelings. If they love someone, they express that thing. If they feel sad, they can easily express and explain why they are sad. If they are happy, the same thing. It is absolutely visible from them that they are happy, and they can express that things. They can show that they are really happy. They speak as they think. So at the same time, these two processes are happening. It doesn't really necessary for them to think in order to reproduce the speech. So speaking, if we are talking about IELTS, for example, is the main thing and the easiest part of the test for extroverts, because they are able to think fast, to think along with speaking. So they do that simultaneously at the same time. And the last and most important characteristic criteria of extroverts, they are social. They need people around them. They need to communicate with others in order to feel okay, in order to feel happy. Introverts are opposite to extroverts. They are reflective. That means they only understand their own feelings. They need to explain themselves what's happening around. They are not as active as extroverts. Activity is not really for them. They are quiet. You will never hear you will not never, but you will rarely hear extroverts screaming something or speaking out loud. They are usually sitting alone, not speaking too much. They are concentrated on themselves. Their main benefit and their main characteristic traits is focusing. It is much easier for them to focus. They are not distracted by anything. Uh, Noises, TV, pets, animals, dogs barking outside. Nothing can stop them. It is easier for them to concentrate on the things. Even if it is war happening around them, they will concentrate on the task which they are doing, and this is kind of their magic trick. Inner world is the most important for them. They need to feel good. Doesn't matter what is happening around them. So if inside they feel sad, if inside they are not feeling good, they will not be able to perform any kind of tasks. Even if around is everything is fine, even if all the people around them are happy, even if everything goes just okay, they will not be satisfied, they will not be productive enough if inside they don't feel that calmness, if inside they don't feel that feeling of being not stressed. Measured, they measure the things which they are doing. Some exact numbers are important for them. They don't like approximate things. For example, if instructions are given to them, if there are 10 steps, they need to follow the 10 steps. They are very strict and follow the rules. They think and then they speak. That's why speaking is not their piece of cake. It is much easier for them to express their thoughts in a written form because it helps them to think more before starting producing their thoughts. That's why they sometimes make big pauses before speaking. It doesn't really mean that they don't know the language or they don't have ideas. This is just because of their psychology. They need to think a little bit before speaking because this gives them the sense of comfort, the sense of stability, the sense of organization. Remember, they like following the plan. So before thinking, before speaking is their plan. They are making in their brain the plan for themselves to speak. And the last thing, solitude. They like being alone. They don't really like communicating with others. It is totally fine for them to sit alone at home, watch TV, and not talking to their friends. They won't feel sad. In opposite way, when they are surrounded by lots of people, they are sharing their energy with that people, and at the end of the conversations, they feel exhausted because they gave all the energy to others. Extroverts, if we're coming back to them, are opposite. They take energy from others when they are communicating. They are energetic vampires, let me call it like this. Not actually vampires, but all in all, the information, the energy from other people is something that helps them to feel happy. While introverts give their own energy to others, that's why they are exhausted and then don't like being with other people, because this is this really requires a lot of resources from them. So now we will move to the test, which helps you to identify whether you are extrovert or introvert. There are 20 questions, not questions, but statements. You need to decide whether they are true for you or false. If you think that this sentence describes you, write the letter T. If you feel that this sentence is opposite and you're not like that, write F. So I will give you some time to do that, 5 minutes maybe. Move to the results. How to score your survey. Give yourself 1 point each time you answer true for questions 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 12, 13, 14, 18, 20. So count. If you have answered true to these questions, give yourself 1 point for each true answer. Counting that things, for every time you answer true for questions 1, 5, 6, 9, 10, 11, 15, 16, 17, and 19, give yourself 1 point and add that points. Calculating these things, so you have one score for E, so for these answers, and you have another score for I, for these answers. Please minus I from E. So for example, if in E you had 5 points and in I you had 10 points, you need to make it 5 minus 10. То есть, that means you're an introvert. If you have from 1 to 10 without minus, that means you're an extroversive person. So it's interesting for me to know the results. So tell me please, who are introverts and who are extroverts?
I'm an introvert.
I'm extrovert. I'm an extrovert.
Okay. So we have
extrovert.
extrovert as well. Anyone else?
I am an extrovert.
So mostly we have extroversive people. And so this is it. Mostly, what else I need to tell you? Also, I need to tell you about the transferable skills. This is the last part of our today's lesson. So transferable skills are all the skills and abilities that are relevant and helpful across different areas of life. In your social life, in your professional life, in your studying life. They are also called portable skills. All in all, these may be referred to as universal skills. These skills which are helpful in every single part of your life. You need to gain that skills as early as possible. Some of these skills are already in your baggage. You are already using them. You just need to develop them. Transferable skills are needed for a person when he or she is starting working, because a lot of people and a lot of managers, when hiring someone for a job, pay attention to the transferable skills which the person has, because it will help to identify whether the person is suitable or not. We can divide transferable skills into several groups. First group is general skills. Kinda they can be applied to studying, to your personal life, to your work. They are general and basic job skills that are essential to most positions. So it doesn't matter which job you take in the future, these skills will definitely be needed for you. First is listening skill. Listening skill is not as listening comprehension as in IELTS, CFR, or whatever. This is just the ability to listen to other people, to their opinions, to understand their opinions, and to respect them. So try to treat people with kindness and never interrupt them while they are speaking. Listen to them, understand them well. Next one is understanding and carrying out written instructions. So understanding instructions given to you, especially when you're not in a leading position, which will definitely not happen in the beginning of your career. We are usually leaders and bosses after a while. So you need to be able to carry out all the tasks. So if your boss tells you that you need to do this, this, and this, you need to be able to clearly follow that instructions and make step after other step. Next thing, observing and assessing your own and others' performances. Be attentive. Look at everything. See and notice the differences. See and notice other people's performances. Also be able to judge that things. Judging doesn't mean that you need to criticize other people's works, but you need to assess whether it was successful or not, at first for your own benefit, because this will help you to study on other person's mistakes, because looking from the other side at something will really be helpful. The person, when he does something, he does it in the best way, as it seems to him. But probably two heads are better than one head, if translating Russian proverb. So looking at that person's performance will give you yourself an experience. Decide whether your peer is working well or whether he's making some mistakes. If he's making some mistakes, remember them and try not to do them further. The same thing is happening with your own performances. If you do not see anything which is not right in your performance, ask other people. Ask them, what did I do wrong? Did I do anything wrong? Please be honest with me. Please tell me what was my mistakes, because it is often really not really visible for us what we are doing wrong. Written communication skills is also next one important general skill, which is necessary for a person when he works or studies anywhere. So written communication skills are required because you're writing letters, you're writing reports, you're communicating with other people in other branches of your department, in other branches of your company, whatever. You should be able to write effectively. Basic math skills. It doesn't mean that you need to know math as 10th graders, 11th graders. Just combining 2 plus 2, dividing and multiplying are essentials. Even English teachers needs them. So basic math skills are really important for you. Be able to work without the calculator when calculating easy things. This is really helpful, and this will make your work faster, better, and easier. Public speaking. Unfortunately, if we're coming back to the topic of introverts and extroverts, for those who are introversive, public speaking is a disaster. They don't really like talking in front of others when a lot of people look at them. So try to gain that skill. Try to overcome your personality, because it is really possible to change it. Not a lot, not fully, but step by step, thinking that nothing is going wrong, thinking that this is fine if other people listen to me, all the people do that, you'll gain that public speaking skill. Feel confident while talking in front of others, because this is really necessary. Your future teachers, according to the program which is being taught to you. So public speaking is really important for you. You will teach English in front of at least 15 people. 15 people will look at you, 30 eyes will look at you at least. And you will need to feel comfortable when doing that. So public speaking acquires that. I guess during one of the next lessons, we will discuss some public speaking skills and how to develop them. Let's not stop on it right now. Punctuality, last but not least. In my opinion, this is the most important skill which a person needs to have. Come on time, never be late, because no one likes waiting for you. No one likes people who are not punctual. If it is said that you need to come at 12, come at 12. Do not be 5 minutes late. If it is necessary, come 5 minutes earlier. This shows you as a professional. This shows that you are a person who takes everything serious, and you will more likely be promoted further in your career if you are punctual. In university, you also won't have problems when you're punctual, because being late, teachers don't really like that, because you interrupt their lessons and so on. So punctuality will give you a plus to your career, to your karma. Next category of that skills, of transferable skills, is interpersonal skills. Interpersonal skills are how well you communicate with others. So you need to be able to collaborate with other people. That means work in a group. You need to be able to provide and accept constructive criticism. So if anyone tells you that this thing was done wrong and this is a reliable person and a reliable tip, listen to it, take it into the consideration. Motivating others. You need to help others to believe in themselves, because this is the best part of working in a team. You need mentoring less experienced colleagues. For example, if someone knows less than you can share some experiences as a people, do it. This is really important in your work and in your studies. Next one, handling customers' complaints. This is not really for all the jobs, but those who work with people. If someone is if someone is complaining about something, you need to take that into consideration. You need to be able to deal with that complaint. Training new employees. If someone new comes, try to be able to work with that person. Try to explain him something. Try to help him feel better. Delegating. Do not do everything on your own. If you have some people with whom you may share your task, do that. Do not overwork. Overworking is terrible. Next one, developing positive relationship with suppliers. If there are people on whose work your work depends, being a good relationship with him or her. Even personal relationship would work here. Jokes would help. Just being positive, being attentive to that people is the best idea. Next one is gaining the confidence of clients or customers. So people should rely on you, people who you work with. They should believe in you. They should know that, this person is the person who will definitely help me. He will never make a mistake. So create a picture of yourself as of a confident person, as a person on whom it is possible to rely. Finally, building strong customer relationships. This is also for those who work with customers, with someone who buys things. So you need, if you are working with customers, you need to be again in a good relationship with them. You need to gain their trust. You need to gain their belief in you. So mostly this is all about the transferable skills I wanted to mention.